Let's dive right into a biological mystery that's going to completely change how you view your relationship with the night. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at something you probably do every single evening without giving it a second thought, but it actually completely defies hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution. We're going to uncover the lost history of human sleep and why literally everything we think we know about a good night's rest might actually be dead wrong.
To really grasp our modern sleep struggles, we first need to realize that our brightly lit nights, they're a massive anomaly in human history. I mean, today, the sun goes down, you just flip a switch, right? Boom, light everywhere. But for 99.9% of human history, that switch didn't exist. When the sun set, the world went completely, utterly dark. Like, can't see your own hand in front of your face dark.
So, part 1. When the world went dark.
Just look at this number, 300,000. For over 300,000 years, humans spent roughly half their entire lives in near total darkness. No light bulbs, no street lamps, not even candles for most of that time. Just the black sky. And moving around at night literally meant becoming a midnight snack for a nocturnal predator. Leopards, hyenas, wolves, they could all see perfectly fine. Us, our eyes were completely useless. So when the sun went down, you hid, and you stayed perfectly still.
Part 2, Fire and Human Culture. Because everything changed about 1 million years ago when early humans finally began to control fire, and it gave us something incredible: extra time.
Think about it. A campfire creates a safe zone of about 30 feet in diameter. It effectively hits pause on the threat of predators, adding 2 to 4 entirely new, usable hours to the human day. Inside that 30-foot circle, predators won't touch you. Outside of it, well, you die. It was literally a circle of life that completely restructured our day. It turned what was basically a time of pure terror and hiding into a time of absolute safety and community.
Now, anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied modern hunter-gatherer groups who live very close to our original lifestyle, and her data is just fascinating. During the day, 80% of their conversations are purely practical. It's all business, Who's hunting where, which plants are ready, economic negotiations. Daytime talk is strictly about work.
But watch how the data completely flips at night. As soon as they gather around that fire, 81% of their conversations shift to storytelling, myths, and jokes. Suddenly, they're talking about distant places, wild adventures, and the origins of the world. The entire character of human interaction just transforms the second the sun goes down and the fire is lit.
And this perfectly illustrates how fire didn't just keep us warm. It literally gave birth to human culture and our ability to imagine the future. As the quote goes, the campfire was the original theater, the original classroom, the original church. It's really where we became us.
Part 3, First and Second Sleep. Because the campfire wasn't the only forgotten aspect of our nights.
Historian Roger Eckerch spent 16 years, yes, 16 years, digging through historical records, and he found over 500 references to something absolutely mind-blowing. He's looking at prayer books from the 1400s, medical texts, ordinary letters, even Homer's Odyssey, and they all kept mentioning the exact same thing: a completely different way of sleeping. Before the Industrial Age, everyone slept in 2 distinct phases, broken up by a wakeful period right in the middle of the night known as the watch. Basically, you went to bed shortly after sunset for your first sleep, that's about 4 hours. Then you actually woke up for 1 to 2 hours. And finally, you went back to bed for your second sleep until dawn. This wasn't some weird bout of insomnia. This was completely normal for thousands of years. So what exactly did people do during this middle-of-the-night window? Well, they were actually incredibly active, but in this cozy, intimate way. A 16th century physician even heavily recommended it as the absolute best time to conceive children. People would visit their neighbors, they'd interpret their dreams while they were still fresh in their minds, they studied, or they just lay there in the dark quietly reflecting. It was this peaceful time when the mind was calm and the world was completely still.
Part 4, Science confirms our true rhythm. Which brings us to a huge question. Was this just medieval folklore, or is this 2-sleep cycle actually biologically hardwired into us? Well, in 1992, psychiatrist Thomas Ware proved this is actually our natural hardware. He took volunteers and put them into 14 hours of darkness every single night for an entire month. They lived exactly like our ancestors would have before artificial light. And the results? Stunning. Within weeks, every single participant naturally reverted to this exact 2-sleep pattern. Nobody told them to do it. It was like this ancient program buried deep inside them just booted right up.
During that natural wakeful period, that ancient watch,
subjects produced super high levels of prolactin, which is the exact same hormone released during meditation. They experienced a deeply peaceful, totally distinct state of consciousness. But today, when we wake up in the middle of the night, we panic, right? We instantly label it as insomnia, and we treat it like a medical disorder. We've completely lost touch with this natural, meditative state.
Part 5. How we lost the night. So if this dual sleep system is our evolutionary default, how did we lose 300,000 years of biological programming so incredibly fast?
Honestly, we systematically eliminated the dark over just a few hundred years. It all started in the 1600s when Paris installed street lamps to cut down on crime. From there, we marched straight into gas lamps in the 1800s, and then, boom, Thomas Edison commercializes the electric bulb in 1879. Flash forward to today, and we're exposing ourselves to an average of 7 to 8 hours of artificial light after the sun goes down. In just a few short generations, the night, as humans knew it, was completely wiped out.
Before we flooded the world with all this light, the night was so respected and honestly so feared that we literally had bells warning people to get inside. Take the word curfew. It actually comes from the French couvre-feu, which literally means cover fire. It was a signal to extinguish your fires, because being out at night was dangerous, suspicious, and strictly reserved for sleeping. Today, we've completely conquered that darkness, but it definitely came at a massive cost.
The main problem is that your brain literally cannot tell the difference between the actual sun and that glowing screen you're staring at in bed. That blue light actively tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. And what does that do? It suppresses your natural melatonin, it completely fragments your sleep patterns, and it actively destroys millions of years of evolutionary programming. We didn't just push back our bedtimes, we eliminated an entire phase of human consciousness.
But, hey, there is some incredibly good news here. Amazingly, researchers found that it only takes 1 week of camping with zero artificial light for our bodies to totally reboot. Just 1 week outside, completely away from screens and bulbs, naturally resets our melatonin cycles by nearly 2 whole hours. Your body immediately starts functioning exactly the way it was designed to for hundreds of thousands of years. That ancient programming, it's still right there inside you.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. What if lying awake in the dark at 2 a.m. isn't actually a malfunction, but just your ancient software trying to boot up? What if your body is simply remembering what it was built to do? The next time you find yourself awake in those quiet, early hours of the night, don't stress out about it. Instead, maybe just consider enjoying that peaceful, ancient rhythm. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.